Hello everyone, welcome to Cognition class. In this video, we will be discussing about paper 5 of Advanced Accounting. First chapter, Application of Accounting Standards. Let's see what are the standards discussed here. See, in paper 5, we will be asking questions based on the standards, that is AS 4, 5, 7, 9, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 26 and 29. These are the standards will be discussed here. So,
AS4.
Contingencies and events occurring after the balance sheet date. And AS5 belongs to net profit or loss for the period, prior period items and changes in accounting policies. AS7 belongs to construction contracts. AS9 belongs to revenue recognition. AS14 for accounting for amalgamation. AS17 is for segment reporting. AS18 is for related party disclosure. AS19 is for leases. AS20 is for earnings per share. AS22 is for accounting for taxes on income. AS24 is for discontinuing operation. AS26 is for intangible assets and AS29 is for provision, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. Now, let's start with the first standard, which is AS4, contingencies and events occurring after the balance sheet date. See, AS4 introduction. The present standard, that is AS4 revised, deals with the treatment and disclosure requirements in the financial statements of events occurring after the balance sheet dates. So, if any events occurring after the balance sheet date, whether it should be disclosed or how it should be treated, will be discussed in this standard, that is AS4, contingencies and events occurring after the balance sheet date. Okay, what is contingencies? Contingency is a condition or situation, the ultimate outcome of which, whether it is gain or loss, will be known or determined only on the occurrence or non-occurrence of one or more uncertain future events. That is, contingency is nothing but it is a condition or situation. It will be known or determined only based only if it occurs or does not occurs. It is based on the uncertain future events. Accounting for treatment of contingent losses. The accounting treatment of contingent losses is determined by the expected outcome of the contingency. If it is likely that a contingency will result in a loss to the enterprise, then it is prudent to provide for that loss in the financial statement. As per the prudency concept, it is necessary to account for a loss. So, if it is likely that the contingency will result in a loss to the enterprise, that it is sure that it will result in loss, then it is prudent to provide for that loss in the financial statement. Now, let's come to the second term, which is events occurring after the balance sheet date. It can be treated on two ways. See here, you can see this chart, flow chart, see here, events occurring after the balance sheet date. It has two sides, that is evidence of such condition being existed at the balance sheet date, no evidence of such condition being existed at the balance sheet date. If there is an evidence that is existing at the balance sheet date, it will be called as an adjusting event. We should adjust that event. And if there is no evidence of such conditions being existed at the balance sheet date, if there is no evidence of such conditions existed at the balance sheet date, it will be recognized as the non-adjusting event. If it is an adjusting event, we should make adjustment to assets and liabilities is required. And if it is non-adjusting items and there is no requirement of adjustment to assets and liabilities. If it is adjusting event, disclosure in the financial statement is required, and if it is not an adjusting event, disclosure in the report of the approving authority is required. In first flow of chart, that is in this side, you need to disclose in the financial statement. In the second one, you need to disclose the report of an approving authorities. Now what we should disclose? Disclosure of events occurring at the balance sheet rate requires the following information should be provided. What are the following information? Nature of the event. If some event occurs, what is the nature of that event? An estimation of the financial effect, or a statement that such an estimate cannot be made. If any financial effect has been made, if we are able to estimate that amount, we can disclose the estimated amount. If it is not able to estimate the amount, we can disclose it as a statement. Now let's see few example illustrations given here. Illustration 1. In X Company Limited, theft of cash of rupees 5 lakh by a cashier in January 2011 was detected only in May 2011. The accounts of a company were not yet approved by the board of directors of the company. Whether the theft of cash has to be adjusted in the accounts of the company for the year ended 31st/3/2011, decide. So let's see the solution what they have given. As per AS4 revised, contingency in events occurring after the balance sheet date and event occurring after the balance sheet date may require adjustment to the reported value of asset, liabilities, expenses or income. From this statement you can understand that this is an adjusting event. If a fraud of the accounting period is detected after the balance sheet date but before approval of the financial statement, it is necessary to recognize the loss amounting to 5 lakh and adjust the accounts of the company for the year ended 31st March 2011. Now let's see the illustration 2. An earthquake destroyed a major warehouse of ACO Limited on 25/2012. The accounting year of the company ended on 31st/3/2012. The accounts were approved on 30/6/2012. The losses from earthquake is estimated at 30 lakhs. State with reason whether the loss due to earthquake is an adjusting or non-adjusting event and how the fact of loss is to be disclosed. Now let's see the solution. As per AS4 revised, contingencies and events occurring after the balance sheet date states that adjustments to assets and liabilities are not appropriate for events occurring after the balance sheet date if such events do not relate to conditions existing at the balance sheet date. The destruction of warehouse due to earthquake did not exist on the balance sheet date. So, this is not an adjusting event. Therefore, loss occurred due to earthquake is not to be recognized in the financial year 2011 to 2012. However, according to the standard, unusual changes affecting the existence or substratum of the enterprise after the balance sheet date may indicate a need to consider the use of fundamental accounting assumption of going concern in the preparation of financial statement. If anything which affects the fundamental accounting assumption like going concern, it is required to be disclosed. See, as per the information given in the question, the earthquake has caused a major destruction. Therefore, fundamental accounting assumption of going concern would have to be evaluated. Considering that the going concern assumption is still valid, the fact of earthquake together with an estimated loss of 30 lakhs should be disclosed in the report of the approving authority for the financial year to enable users of financial statement to make proper evaluation and decision. As we have already seen that if it is a non-adjusting item, disclosure in the report of the approving authority is required. Now move on to illustration 3. We'll see up to illustration 3 and next move on to the next standard, which is AS5, net profit or loss, period items, changes in accounting policies. Illustration 3. A company has filed a legal suit against the debtor from whom 15 lakh is recoverable as on 31st 3 2011. The chances of recovery by way of legal suit are not good as per legal opinion given by the council in April 2011. Can the company provide for full amount of 15 lakhs as provisions for doubtful debts? Discuss. Now let's see the solution. As per AS4 revised, contingencies and events occurring after the balance sheet date, assets and liabilities should be adjusted for events occurring after the balance sheet date that provide additional evidence to assist the estimation of amounts relating to conditions existing at the balance sheet date. In the given case, company should make the provision for doubtful debts as legal suit has been filed on 31st March 2011 on the chances of recovery from the suit are not good. Though the actual result of legal suit will be known in the future, a situation of non-recovery from the debtors exists before finalization of financial statements. Therefore, provisions for doubtful debt should be made for the year ended 31st March 2011. Now, we have come to the standard of AS5. Net profit or loss for the period, prior period items, and changes in accounting policies. Accordingly, AS5 requires the classification and disclosure of extraordinary and prior period items and disclosure of certain items within profit or loss from ordinary activities. It also specifies the accounting treatment for changes in accounting estimates and the disclosures to be made in the financial statements regarding changes in accounting policies. Now let's see net profit or loss for the period. What is net profit or loss for the period? All items of income and expenses which are recognized in the period should be included in the determination of net profit or loss for the period unless an accounting standard requires or permits otherwise. Net profit or loss for the prior period comprises the following components. What are the components of net profit or loss? Now we are going to see profit or loss from ordinary activities, extraordinary items, exceptional items, changes in accounting estimates, changes in accounting policies. These are the components. What are they? Ordinary items, extraordinary items, prior period items, changes in accounting estimates, changes in accounting policies. Now let's see. Profit and loss from ordinary items. Any activities which are undertaken by an enterprise as part of its business and such related activities in which the enterprise engages in furtherance of incidental to or arising from these activities, that is, which are related to activities of business, which will be considered as ordinary activities. For example, profit and sale of merchandise, loss on sale of unsold inventory at the end of the season. Extraordinary items. What is extraordinary items? Income or expenses that arise from events or transactions that are clearly distinct from the ordinary activities of the enterprise and therefore are not expected to recur frequently or regularly. Extraordinary item is an item which is not expected to be recur frequently or regularly, and it is distinct from the ordinary activities. Now let's see the examples for extraordinary items. See here, examples of events or transactions that generally give rise to extraordinary items of for most enterprises are attachment of property of the enterprise and earthquake. An earthquake is clearly distinct from the ordinary activities and it is not recurring frequently or regularly. These are the two items given as an example in our book, which is attachment of property of the enterprise and an earthquake. Now let's see exceptional items. What is exceptional item? When items of income and expense within profit or loss from ordinary activities or of such size, nature, or incidents that their disclosure is relevant to explain the performance of the enterprise for the period. The nature and amount of such items should be disclosed separately. See here, if it is relevant to explain the performance of the enterprise, then the nature and amount of such items should be disclosed separately, which is called as exceptional items. See, circumstances which give rise to separate disclosure of items of income and expenses include, they have given some exceptional items. These are that. First one is the written down of inventories to NRV, which is net realizable value, as well as the reversal of such written downs. Second, a restructuring of the activities of an enterprise and the reversal of any provision for the cost of restructuring. Third, disposal of items of fixed assets. Fourth, disposal of long-term investments. Fifth, legislative changes having retrospective application. Any retrospective application have been made due to legislative changes. Litigation settlements, and the last, other reversal of provision. These are the circumstances which give rise to the separate disclosure of items of income and expenses. And what is prior period items? Prior period items are income or expenses which arise in the current period as a result of errors or omissions in the preparation of financial statements of one or more prior periods. If any errors or omissions made in the prior period's financial statements, it will be, if it arises in the current period, we will be calling it as prior period items. Errors may occur as a result of mathematical mistakes in applying accounting policies, misinterpretation of facts or oversight, and changes in accounting estimate. The effect of change in accounting estimate should be included in the determination of net profit or loss in the period of the change if the change affects the period only, or the period of the change and future period if the change affects both. See, if it affects the particular period only, it should be entered in the period of that change. If it affects the at present and it also affect the further period, that is future also, we should record it in both, that is period of the change and the future period if the change affects both. Change in accounting policies. Mostly accounting policies can be changed only on the three circumstances. What are they? When the adoption of a different accounting policy is required by a statute, or for compliance with an accounting standard, or when it is considered that the change would result in more appropriate presentation of the financial statement of the enterprise. They have given two examples which is not considered as change in accounting policies. What are they? The adoption of an accounting policy for events or transactions that differ in substance from previously occurring events or transactions. C. Introduction of a formal retirement gratuity scheme by an employer in place of a ad hoc ex gratia payments to employees on retirement. Second, the adoption of a new accounting policy for events or transactions which did not occur previously or that were immaterial. These are the two circumstances which is not considered as a change in accounting policy. Now let's see two examples here. Fuel charge is billed by the state electricity board at provincial rates. Final bills for fuel surcharge of rupees 5.30 lakhs for the period October to September has been received and paid in February 2018. However, the same was accounted in the year 2018 to 2019. Comment on the accounting treatment done in the said case. Now let's see the solution. The final bill having been paid on February 2018 should have been accounted for in the annual accounts of the company for the year ended 31st March 2018. However, it seems that as a result of error or omission in the preparation of the financial statements of prior period, that is for the year ended 31st March 2018, this material charge has arisen in the current period, that is 2019, 31st March 2019. Therefore, it should be treated as prior period items as per AS5. As per AS5, prior period items are normally included in the determination of net profit or loss for the current period. They have also given the alternative approach. What is this? See, let's see what is that. An alternative approach is to show such items in the statement of profit and loss after determination of current net profit or loss. In either case, the objective is to indicate the effect of such items on the current profit or loss. Illustration 2. First subdivision. During the year 2011 to 2012, a medium-sized manufacturing company wrote down its inventories to net realizable value by 5 lakhs. There is a separate disclosure necessary. Let's see. Although the case under condition does not relate to extraordinary item, but the nature and amount of such item may be relevant to uses of financial statements in understanding financial positions and performance of enterprise and in making projections about financial position and performance. So, as per AS5 on net profit or loss for the period, prior period items and changes in accounting policies states that this is an exceptional item. C. When items of income and expense within profit or loss from ordinary activities are of such size, nature or extent that the disclosure is relevant to explain the performance of the enterprise for the period, the nature of amount of such item should be disclosed separately. Circumstances which may require separate disclosure of items of income and expense in accordance with AS5 include the written down of inventories to net realizable value as well as reversal of such written downs. As we have already seen some examples for exceptional items, it will be easier. So I request everyone to again go through the examples which are given in our study materials as exceptional items and extraordinary items. They have also given some prior period items. Next we see second point, second subdivision. A company signed an agreement with the employees union on 1/9/2012 for the revision of wages with retrospective effect from 30/9/2011. This would cost the company an additional liability of 5 lakh per annum. Is a disclosure necessary for the amount paid in 2012 to 2013? Let's see the answer. It is given that revision of wages took place on 1st September 2012 with retrospective effect from 30/9/2011. Therefore, wages payable for the half year from 1/10/2012 to 31/3/2013 cannot be taken as an error or omission in the preparation of financial statements, and this expenditure can't be taken as a prior period item. Additional wage liability of rupees 7,50,000 they have calculated 1.5 into 5 lakhs should be included in current year's wages. It may be mentioned that additional wages is an expenses arising from ordinary activities of a company. Such an expense does not qualify as an extraordinary item. However, as per AS5, when items of income within profit or loss from ordinary activities or of such size, nature or performance that the disclosure is relevant to explain the performance of the enterprise for the period, the nature and amount of such items should be disclosed separately. That's it. They have many illustrations in our study material. Go through all these sums which is given in your study material, and also revise RTPs, mock test papers for for better understanding of accounting standards. In next video we will see next accounting standards. Thank you.